So thanks to this guy, Tim, who is running the camera, I am standing in a field of deer poop to tell you about the Kia Telluride. This is the Kia Telluride xpro. This is a brand new model for 2023. There's also an xline. Both of them are designed for a little more rugged performance, off-road. We're in this big ranch here outside San Marcos, Texas, and we have antelope and we have deer and we have all kinds of things that like to leave poop. But there are also big rocks and trees and roots and rivers and creeks and all the kinds of things that you would drive over if you were going to drive to a ranch in Texas and or Oregon or Michigan or North Carolina or wherever you might drive off-road. The Kia Telluride wants to get you there. And that is the idea behind many of the new features in the 2023 edition. Go with me here. We're going to go to the front of the Kia Telluride, and I'm going to try not to step in that prickly bush because that would hurt. So how can you tell this is a 2023? So one way that you'll know is there are new headlights here, and these actually are white. In the prior model years, they were amber. You'll still have the amber reflectors on the side. And then there's a new grille. Now this is kind of dusty because we have actually driven quite a lot off-road today. It's been really fun, and I will show you that, so keep watching. But you notice this new grille, and it is what Kia calls their tiger nose grille, but this one looks a little different. It's got more of a 3D mesh look to it, and I really like it. I also love this color, this blue color, which is the color that they've been showing the xline and the xpro in. It almost has a ceramic moon glow to it. It's very cool, and I think it looks good out here in the Texas hill country. Now I want to show you around the back of the car. Back of the Kia Telluride. Notice anything different? Probably not. That's because there are a couple of details so subtle on the bumper that unless you really know, you wouldn't know. The only thing that you would notice is there's an xpro tag badge right here, but you still have the same waterfall tail lights that are distinctive for the Kia Telluride. And a trend that I like to think the Kia was, if not the first, one of the first, which is to spell the name of the car out along the back, on the back end, on the lift gate. That's a trend that we're seeing literally every car do now. Kia was there with it as an early adopter, early trendsetter on that trend. So guess what we have here? We have seating for 2 passengers, 3 passengers back here. So this car seats 7 or 8 passengers depending on center row bench or captain's chairs, but you can fit 3 passengers in the 3rd row, which is pretty nice. Notice the space that we have. It's not a huge amount of space, but it certainly is enough for a hockey bag, maybe 2. It's enough for a stroller, maybe a tandem. You can also put 1 or both of these seats down and create extra cargo space if you need to. There are no buttons that do that. It is only by pulling these tabs, but there are buttons that put down the center row, and that allows you to get those seats flat. And notice that they do fold pretty flat. So this is how you put all of your seats down, and then that's all the cargo space that you have in the Kia Telluride, which is pretty awesome. I want to show you one more thing that's pretty awesome back here, and that is this. There is a household outlet right there in the cargo area, so you have a household outlet if you need that. They're under, let's look and see what's underneath here. The magic storage space, and you know what this is? This is your cargo cover, and Kia has created a space down here. I'm not going to pull it out because it's hard to get out, and then I have to get it back in there. It retracts, so you can push this in and pull it out. That's the magic. You just pull this off, and then you can pull this cargo cover out. You still do have to pull it out like that. And so you still have to push it in to retract it, and that is where you can store your cargo cover. So it doesn't actually have to live propped against the wall of your garage collecting dust and spider webs like mine does.
No hurry to get your foot off the brake and onto the throttle. And just carry the brake over the top.
This is a big hill. Oh, you hear the scraping. Okay, and now it's all sky. That's all we see. Oh my gosh. a good one.
Bit of an off-camber long turn here. And honestly, this is almost more of a test of the Continental. The OE tire on the xpro this time.
Holy cow.
Steady on the throttle there.
Oh my god. Woo. Oh my gosh. I feel like we're going to tumble into that pond. So not a lot has changed in the Kia Telluride, but a lot has gotten better. So the biggest thing you'll notice is this really beautiful single pane multimedia system. So the multimedia system here, driver information screen here. This is something that we've seen roll out in other Kia models this year, as well as sister company Hyundai. They have incorporated this. And it's a winner. It looks really good. It's crisp. It's easy to use. It's very responsive. And Kia's also rewritten this entire system. So you can scroll over to the apps. You can tap any of these that you need. You can always tap that home button to get back to it. But there are some really cool features for families in here. So first of all, rear climate control. The climate controls in the second row are in the ceiling. And so you will need this, especially for kids in car seats, to be able to control the temperature back there and the fan speed. And then there is quiet mode. Quiet mode allows you, once you tap this, once it's on, you see the little purple light, then the radio is low and it only plays through the front speakers. So if your child is sleeping or somebody's maybe listening to something else in the back seat, you can put this on quiet mode and they can't hear your music. And then I like this one too. This one is called Passenger Talk. And I want you to listen. There's a speaker here, up here. And as I speak into this speaker, passengers in the third row can hear me. Now I'm doing that a little bit exaggerated, so you can hear that on the microphone. But I want you to listen to that again. Doesn't it sound like I'm echoing or Mommy is speaking into your ear? That's the point. So with Passenger Talk on, passengers in the third row can easily hear what you're saying and you can hear what they're saying, which is a pretty nice feature. I think you should leave it on all the time so that they can hear your music too, because they love that, right? There are some other great features here too. Navigation, which is now standard. That's a cool thing. And then there is a user's manual here. So I really love some of the things that Kia has done. Something that you don't see in this, but another really great tech feature is the digital key. So that essentially is your phone as a key. There are sensors in the doors that help your phone to unlock the car, and then you can also start it and drive it with the digital key, which is really cool to not have to carry a key. Now there are also some things that they've added in here, and I want to show you this. So we are in the top of the line of the xline. The naming is a little confusing. There's X and there's Pro X, so you'll have to really look a little more deeply to make sure you're getting the features you want. But something that they have in here that I really like, and that is there's a wireless phone charger right down here. And as I put my phone in there, not only does the wireless phone charger charge faster than the one that they had in the last model, but it also has a cooling feature to keep your phone cool. And that was something we used to notice, that the phones would heat up when they were sitting on a wireless charger, and didn't love that. That has been solved. You'll find there's a USB port, there's a USB-C port, and there's a 12 volt. There are only 2 of these, but there are 2 household outlets, which I will show you where those are. Our model has these lovely grab bars in case you feel like you need a little extra something to hold on to while off-roading. There are heated and cooled seats here. I'm going to turn off the heated seats. It's very hot. You have climate control here. Here are your radio quick buttons, quick access buttons. You do have dials for volume and tuning and for temperature. That's right here. And then this, of course, is a touch screen. On the steering wheel, all the features that we know and love that help us to find our information quickly here. You can push this little button to get different functions, and then you can scroll through the different settings there, including there is a head-up display. I love the head-up display. Let me show you what that looks like. 2023 Kia Telluride has drive modes here, right in the command center next to the gear selector. And you have Eco, Snow, Smart, Sport, or Comfort. And it's actually recommended that Comfort is the mode you use if you're doing light off-roading, which we did today by tapping this, the suspension lock. So this locks up the suspension, so it's not adjusting, making adjustments, it's actually keeping the most traction on the road. And here's what it looks like when you toggle through your different drive modes. So Comfort, Eco, gives you a little blue. Comfort, Sport, of course, has red, and then Smart, which you'll see each one of these lights up on the center console as well as in the driver information screen. This is our camera. So we used this while off-roading. It was really awesome because you have a great view not only behind the car but also a 360-degree view there. And then you can actually tap it to get different views, and you can set things up however you would like. If you don't want the grid lines that show you where you're turning, you can turn that off. You know, you can leave it on, and that lets you know, am I going to hit that person standing next to the car? I will try not to, I promise. Lastly, one last piece of technology that Kia's added here in the front seat, and that is this. This is a video view mirror. So it gives you a view from the top of the lift gate, and this shows you everything behind the car. Or you can have an actual reflection mirror, and that allows you maybe a better view of the people in the back seat if that's what you're looking for, or if there are a lot of tall heads in the back seat or you're packed to the gills, turn this thing on and you get that live view mirror. I do like this much better for night driving because it illuminates, or it gives you a much brighter image even when it's pitch dark outside. There are some really cool features for rear seat passengers, starting with in the top of the line trim, these nice window shades. One thing I want to show you though that I really love is this. There is a little tab there where you can hang a bag or a backpack or a purse. So if you need to put your bag somewhere, there's a little tab for that. I love that Kia did that. I also love this little pocket that has a phone pocket. Great for your kids or passengers who need some place to put their phone while it's charging, which it can do right here on this seat back charger. So that's another thing that Kia is kind of known for, is putting the charge ports right there in the seat back. Yeah, it's already powered anyway, so might as well do that. That makes a lot of sense. Cup holders here for center row passengers instead of right here because we have a pass-through for the third row. Two other things I'll show you. A 12-volt here and a household outlet, so no one can complain they can't plug in their laptop to do their homework. Don't you love that? I love that. So these seats, I'll show you this, are on rails, and they can slide forward and back, which is really nice to put the kid back further from the seat so they won't kick it, or pull them closer if they're really small and they're in a rear-facing car seat and you want to be able to reach them from the front seat. You can move them as close as possible. So that's a nice detail. Something that I am a little divided on, the rear seat climate control is here. So kids in car seats and even those in boosters are probably not going to be able to reach the controls or the vents. They're going to have to be set for them. So that's something to think about before you pull out of the driveway. Make sure that if they want the air on them, it's there. You could also shut off the air, change the fan speed or the temperature from the front multimedia screen. So that is a nice detail. If they start to complain it's too hot or it's too cold, you do have control from the front seat. But I want to show you this. On the side of the seat is this magic button. It's also right here. And this slides and tilts the seat forward. You can do this with a child passenger car seat installed as long as you've used the lower anchors to install that car seat. What that means is that your passengers now can grab this grab handle and hop into the third row very easily without using the pass-through. Now, if you have a center row bench, that makes all the sense in the world. If you don't have a center row bench, then you can, and you have captain's chairs, then you can go through the middle. It's really up to you. But you may have people who would be more comfortable getting in that way than going this way, especially if you have large child passenger seats in those captain's chairs. To get out, you push this button, and the seat slides and tilts forward to get out of the back seat, the third row of the Kia Telluride. Okay, so plenty of room for passengers in the third row. I'm 5'8". This seat is set where its natural position is all the way back. This one is sort of in the middle, the natural position that it clicks to when I pulled it back. And I have plenty of room here. But if I slide over behind this seat, I still have a lot of room. My knees are against the seat, but they're pretty upright. And I have a fair amount of headroom. Again, I'm 5'8", so it's not going to be super comfortable for a long car ride, but with the headroom, with the panoramic sunroof, and with a USB port, I think I'm set for at least a short to medium trip. There are cup holders here. This is a really large one, and then there's a sort of a normal size cup holder here. A USB-C port. Both sides have the cup holders, the USB-C port. This actually is an indent for the cargo cover, so if you pull that out of the rear and put that up here, you can position it here or here. And then there's also a little cubby here, which is a nice place for people to store, you know, wet lollipops, empty juice boxes, and anything gooey and gross. Kia Telluride, they have sold 300,000 of these since they started building them in Georgia in 2019. Remember, it was the World Car of the Year for 2020, and that was just the start of the popularity of this car. The good news is Kia has increased production, so they're going to build more than 120,000 of them a year. They will sell every single one as soon as it rolls off the line. What do you get for your $36,000 to $52,000? This is the top of the line, by the way, the $52,000 one. What do you get? Well, you get more driver assistance safety systems that are standard. You get a better wireless charger. You get leather interior that looks really premium. You get off-road chops that will take you on almost every off-road course you'd ever want to go on. And you get to take all your people with you. And that is the point of the Kia Telluride.